There's a difference between dressing well and dressing like you know what you're doing. Most men over 40 are doing the first. They're buying decent clothes. They're avoiding obvious mistakes. They're staying in their lane, and that's fine, if fine is what you're aiming for. But true gentlemen operate differently. They don't just avoid looking bad, they avoid looking average. They understand that certain items, no matter how common or socially acceptable, quietly undermine the way they are perceived. Not dramatically, not obviously, just enough to dull the edge. These aren't fashion crimes. You won't get called out for wearing them. But that's exactly the problem. They slip by unnoticed, blending into the background noise of acceptable menswear while slowly pulling your presence down to the median. The items on this list aren't broken. They're just default. They're what men reach for when they're not thinking. And after 40, not thinking is what separates a man who looks put together from a man who looks distinguished. This isn't about being flashy. It's not about spending more money. It's about editing, removing the pieces that dilute your impact and replacing them with choices that reinforce who you actually are. 12 items, 12 upgrades, and by the end you'll see your wardrobe and how other people see you completely differently. Let's get into it. Perma's Polo Shirts. This one's going to sting because polos feel like the safe middle ground. Not too casual, not too formal. The perfect I'm trying but not too hard piece. That's exactly the problem. Polos telegraph indecision. They say you weren't sure what the occasion called for, so you split the difference. And after 40, splitting the difference reads as lacking conviction. The collar tries to dress it up, the short sleeves dress it down. The result is a garment that commits to nothing and looks like it. The fix isn't complicated. Commit one way or the other. A clean, well-fitted t-shirt in a substantial fabric says casual with confidence. A lightweight linen shirt says polished without being stiff. Both choices carry more authority than the polo's perpetual middle ground. If you want the ease of a polo but with actual presence, look at something like the tri-blend shirt from Saks. Basic shape, but in a fabric that actually drapes and breathes instead of sitting stiff and shapeless. The fabric has movement. Most polos fail because they're designed for compromise. Don't compromise. And speaking of items that feel safe but land flat, 2. Square toe shoes. Square toe shoes had a moment in the early 2000s. That moment is over. The problem isn't that they're dated, although they are. The problem is what they do to your silhouette. That squared-off toe box adds visual weight at the exact point where your outfit should be finishing cleanly. It makes dress shoes look clunky and casual shoes look cheap. It interrupts the line from trouser hem to floor in a way that always reads slightly off. Men hold onto them because they feel modern compared to traditional rounded or pointed options. But that's 20-year-old logic. Today, they just read as a man who bought his dress shoes at a department store sale and never looked back. The fix, a slightly elongated, softly rounded toe. It's not about being trendy. It's about proportion. The Cole Haan Newark Penny Loafer is a perfect example. Classic shape, substantial construction, and a toe box that actually complements the rest of your outfit instead of fighting it. Shoes anchor everything. Get this wrong and nothing above the ankle will ever look quite right. And while we're on things that quietly pull an outfit down, 3. Graphic tees. At 25, a graphic tee says something about your taste, your sense of humor, your cultural references. At 45, it says you're still reaching for the same tools you used 2 decades ago. This isn't about being boring, it's about signal management. A graphic tee draws attention to the image first and you second. After 40, that equation should be reversed. Your presence should lead. Your clothes should support it. The men who carry the most weight in a room are usually wearing the least interesting individual pieces. The interest comes from how everything works together, not from a clever print doing the heavy lifting. Swap the graphics for texture and tone. A heavyweight cotton tee and charcoal melange has just as much visual interest as any print, but it puts you at the center instead of whatever image is stretched across your chest. The Ralph Lauren Classic heavyweight shirt is a good place to start. Substantial fabric, clean cut, and enough texture to hold attention without asking for it. Let the younger guys wear their opinions on their shirts. You've got better things to communicate. Now let's talk about what happens when fit goes wrong. 4. Baggy suits. There's a line between relaxed tailoring and a suit that's wearing you. Baggy suits were standard issue for decades. Boxy shoulders, pleated trousers, enough fabric to pitch a tent. Some men still reach for this silhouette because it's what they wore when they first started dressing up, or because they think it hides things. But it doesn't hide anything. It just removes definition, and without definition, you lose presence. A suit should follow your body, not float around it. This doesn't mean skin-tight European cuts. Those have their own problems. It means shoulders that sit where your shoulders actually end. A chest that doesn't billow when you button up. Trousers that have some shape through the leg instead of hanging like curtains. The Coltum suit in navy is a good benchmark. Soft shoulders, moderate structure, and a silhouette that moves with you without drowning you. It's the difference between looking like you own the room and looking like you borrowed someone else's clothes. Fit isn't about fashion. It's about intention. And nothing broadcasts unintentional louder than a suit that doesn't fit. Get your existing suits tailored or invest in new ones that actually follow your body. Either way, stop hiding in fabric. Speaking of broadcasting the wrong thing, 5. White athletic socks. This seems minor. It's not. White athletic socks with dress shoes, or worse with loafers and no-show situations, signal that you got dressed from the top down and stopped paying attention somewhere around the ankles. It's a detail, sure, but details are where credibility lives. The flash of white between your trouser hem and your shoe creates visual interruption. It breaks the line. It cheapens everything above it, and it immediately categorizes you as someone who doesn't think about the full picture. The fix is simple. Match your socks to your trousers or your shoes. Navy trousers, navy socks. Charcoal trousers, charcoal socks. Gray pants, gray socks. If you're wearing loafers, sockless, commit actual no-show socks that stay hidden, not athletic socks hoping to disappear. You don't need to spend much. A pack of Lands' End dress socks in navy, charcoal, and gray covers 90% of situations. They're thin, they stay up, and they disappear into the outfit like they're supposed to. Small investment, outsized impact, and since we're on the subject of things that should disappear but don't. 6. Shiny dress shirts. If your dress shirt has a visible sheen under normal lighting, it's working against you. Shiny dress shirts, usually made from cheap polyester blends or over-processed cotton, look like they're trying too hard. They catch light in ways that feel nightclub rather than boardroom. They wrinkle strangely, they photograph terribly, and they broadcast budget even when they weren't. Men reach for them because the sheen reads as dressy, but real dressiness comes from fabric quality, not surface finish. A matte cotton broadcloth or Oxford will always look more sophisticated than its shinier counterpart because it lets the cut and fit do the talking. Look for shirts with a soft hand and a clean finish. The Untuck It wrinkle-free dress shirt is a solid example. Proper cotton, subtle texture, and a finish that reads polished without looking like you're headed to prom. If your shirt needs a disco ball to look good, it doesn't look good. By the way, if you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I'm always putting out videos on dressing well after 40. No trends, no gimmicks, just practical upgrades that actually work. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Now let's talk about an item that's everywhere in casual menswear. 7. Cargo shorts. Cargo shorts are the sartorial equivalent of a fanny pack. Technically functional, but the message they send outweighs any practical benefit. The extra pockets add bulk where you don't need it. They make your legs look shorter and wider. They scream, "I prioritize utility over appearance," which is fine if you're hiking, but not if you're trying to look like a man who's got his life together. After 40, your shorts should do one thing: cover your legs without adding visual noise. Flat front chino shorts in a tailored cut, ending just above the knee, accomplish this. They look cleaner. They photograph better. They work with a wider range of tops. The Lands' End deck short is a good template. Clean front, substantial fabric, and a cut that has some shape without clinging. All the functionality you actually need, none of the tactical cosplay. Here's the thing. No one has ever looked at a well-dressed man and thought, "I wish he had more pockets on his thighs." Save the cargo pockets for actual outdoor activities. For everything else, less is more. And speaking of less being more, 8. Oversized watches. There was a period when wrist presence meant maximum diameter, 44 millimeters, 46 millimeters, sometimes bigger. The idea was that a large watch commanded attention. It does, just not the right kind. Oversized watches throw off your proportions. They make your wrist look smaller by comparison. They dominate your outfit instead of complementing it. And they've become strongly associated with a particular era of menswear that hasn't aged well. The shift has been back toward restraint. 38 to 40 millimeter cases for dress watches, 40 to 42 millimeters for sport watches. Sizes that sit comfortably on the wrist and integrate into your overall look rather than fighting it. You don't need to replace your entire collection, but if your daily wear is pushing 45 millimeters plus, consider rotating in something more proportionate. A clean, mid-sized piece will always carry more quiet authority than a wrist-dominating statement piece. Confidence doesn't need to announce itself, neither does your watch. Now let's talk about a color choice that keeps showing up. 9. Black dress shirts. The black dress shirt promises sophistication. What it delivers is usually closer to waiter at a mid-range restaurant or club promoter from 2008. Black is an inherently tricky color for dress shirts because it has nowhere to go. It doesn't pair well with most tie colors. It flattens your face under typical lighting. It reads as trying to look edgy rather than actually looking good. And worn open-collared with dark jeans, the classic move, it just looks like you're about to ask someone if they're on the list. Dark colors can work in shirting, but the key is depth and texture, not pure black. Midnight navy, deep charcoal, burgundy, these give you the same tonal richness without the pitfalls. The Mr. P brushed cotton shirt in Nay is a solid alternative. Texture and warmth to actually flatter instead of flatten. You get the drama of a dark shirt without looking like you're working a shift at Olive Garden. Let black do its work in jackets and trousers. Your shirt has other jobs. And speaking of jobs, shirts shouldn't be doing 10. Pre-distressed denim. There's something appealing about jeans that look lived in right out of the bag. The fades are already there. The whiskers are preset. No break-in required? That's exactly the problem. Pre-distressed denim tells a story that isn't yours. The wear patterns don't correspond to your body. The fades happened in a factory, not on your legs. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The jeans are wearing someone else's history. The alternative takes patience but delivers something better. Dark, clean denim that develops character over time. The fades happen where they're supposed to. The patina builds in ways unique to you. And the result is a pair of jeans that actually tells your story. The J. Crew Classic Jean is a good starting point. Quality construction, substantial fabric, and a clean slate that'll age beautifully with actual wear. Let your jeans earn their character. It's worth the wait. Now here's an item that's been doing damage in plain sight. 11. The blue shirt. Not all blue shirts, just that blue shirt. The light blue, slightly shiny, probably non-iron button-down that's become the default uniform for men who aren't sure what else to wear. It's not technically wrong. That's the issue. It's so aggressively neutral that it passes without comment, which means it also passes without impact. It's what men reach for when they want to look professional without actually thinking about how they want to look. The problem multiplies when paired with khakis or beige chinos, which it usually is. The combination is so common, it's become visual wallpaper. You see it everywhere, which means you see no one. The fix isn't complicated, more texture, deeper tones. A chambray has the same general color family, but with actual visual interest. An Oxford cloth button-down in a slightly deeper blue has structure. A linen shirt in slate or navy has movement. The Rice Rubin linen shirt is a good example. Similar ease, but with enough character to actually register. It still reads clean and professional. It just doesn't read like every other guy in the conference room. Stop blending in. Start being seen. And finally, the other half of that forgettable uniform. 12. Beige jeans. Beige jeans, or their close cousin, the stone-washed khaki jean, occupy a strange no-man's land in menswear. They're not dressy enough to pair with tailoring. They're not casual enough to feel relaxed. They just exist, adding nothing to any outfit they touch. The color itself is the culprit. Beige reads as indecisive, not warm, not cool, not anything in particular. It matches with nothing because it commits to nothing. And as jeans, they inherit all the casualness of denim with none of its visual interest. If you want something lighter than standard denim but more interesting than beige, look at tobacco, olive, or even a warmer tan. These colors actually say something. They create contrast with your tops instead of quietly disappearing beneath them. The Buck Mason Maverick Chino is a perfect swap. The same ease as jeans, but with a color that anchors an outfit instead of draining it. It pairs beautifully with navy, gray, white, basically everything beige struggles with. Beige might feel safe, but safe after 40 is just another word for forgettable. And that's something true gentlemen never are. Here's what all 12 of these items have in common. None of them are disasters. You could wear any of them and no one would say anything. That's precisely the problem. After 40, the mistakes that hurt you most are the ones that go unnoticed. They're the choices that blend into the background, the defaults that slowly dilute your presence until you're just another man in the room instead of the man people remember. True gentlemen understand this. They're not chasing trends or trying to look younger. They're editing, removing the pieces that add noise without adding value, replacing the defaults with decisions. This isn't about spending more money. Most of the upgrades I've mentioned cost the same or less than the items they replace. It's about intentionality, about understanding that after a certain age, your clothes aren't just covering your body. They're communicating who you are before you say a word. The goal isn't to look perfect, it's to look considered, to walk into any room knowing that nothing you're wearing is working against you. 12 items off the list, a cleaner, sharper wardrobe that says exactly what you want it to say. Now that you know what to avoid, the next step is simple. Check out the video on screen now. I'll see you there.